Further, I'd like to welcome Amanda Dexter, our new CEO. We've thrown her in at the deep end. First day on the job, the council meeting. So it should be an interesting day.
Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, straight into it. Attendances and apologies. It's fantastic to see all councillors here today. Thank you all for making the effort. We don't have any apologies and we don't have any approved leaves of absence. Declarations of interest. I have a declaration of interest from Councillor Adam Cottrell on item 7.4.1. The nature of the interest is impartiality, and the owner of the tender on the Coral Bay contracting is a long-term friend and past neighbour. I have an interest from Councillor Luke Skender on the agenda item 7.4.1 on the Coral Bay Public Amenity Contract. The nature of the interest is impartiality, and the extent of the interest is the author of the item is his partner. And I have an interest from myself on item 7.3.2, management of the Blowholes Reserve. The nature of the interest is impartiality, and the extent of my interest is I have distant relatives that own shacks. Thank you. And I'll remind councillors, if you realise while we go through the meeting you have an interest, don't hesitate to let us know. Thank you. Questions taken on notice from the previous meeting, there are nil. Public question time, there's one member of the public, I don't think has got any questions. Confirmations of the minutes, item 4.1. Minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting of 24th of September 2024. Thank you, Councillor Vanderler. Councillor Skender. Is there any debate or discussion on this item? Being no debate, Mrs Hill, that's passed unanimously. Item 4.2, minutes of the Special Council meeting 30th of September 2024. Councillor Vanderler. Councillor Skender, thank you. Is there any debate, councillors? Being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Announcements by the President without discussion. Councillors, I'd just like to bring to your attention a few things. I'm really proud of our Shire. They've done a fantastic job. I'd like to announce that they've won the local government's Place Innovation Award for West Australia, for regional WA, the Future Is Me project. Rob Wymouth accepted on our behalf at the local government agenda of what was local government week. Well, my apologies. It was fantastic to see that happen, and this centred around the early engagement of young people revealed a passion for art, leading us to implement major art projects such as the Egan Street mural on Outback Floral Design shopfront and the revitalisation of the skate park. These projects not only beautified community spaces, but also fostered a sense of ownership and pride among our youth. And we also congratulate the City of Albany and the Shire of Goomalling for their being finalists in this category. They're outstanding projects. The next one I want to bring up is, and I'll be going to Coral Bay tomorrow because it's going to fit in with some of their meetings up there tomorrow with the Department of Fire Emergency Services having a meeting, and in the very near future, Mrs Sandra Limbry, retiring from her volunteerism work in Coral Bay. She's been an absolute rock-solid member of that community, providing unbelievable service to that community, which included the Department of Fire and Emergency Service work on Anzac Day. She would take on the important role of Master of Ceremonies, fundraising on many, many things to make them happen, but more importantly, as a devoted volunteer of St John Ambulance. Sandra spent hours on this, and there was a serious event, must be nearly 2 years ago now, when a long-term family up there lost their mother and father in a boating accident. I know for a fact Sandra didn't sleep for over 2 days with the work she was doing in relation to that event. She's been an absolute rock, and I'm actually really looking forward to going up, presenting her with a thank you from the Shire. So if you all get a chance to see Sandra, say thank you. And last but not least, I've got to bring this one up because they're people that don't get recognised for what they do, and they've developed a name for Carnarvon in the big bore rifle shooting, target shooting events in the state and in fact in Australia. So at the last, what used to be the Queen's Shoot, and I think everybody would have heard about the Queen's Shoot, it's now the King's Shoot. The competitors from Carnarvon were Chappie Greg Sweetman, Paul Keeney and John Winky Williams, and Benny DeGiudice. In the Dukes, Paul Keeney got 6th place, 7th place went to Ben DeGiudice, and Winky got 8th place. In the King's Shoot, more importantly, which is a big one, Ben DeGiudice got 1st place, Chappie Sweetman 2nd, 3rd was Paul Keeney, and Winky was in 9th. And mind you, he's in 9th, shooting in the top level, but he's actually a B grade shooter. So he's fairly stepped up to get up into 9th place. On the grand aggregate total of the full shoot, that was won by Ben DeGiudice. 2nd place was Chappie Sweetman. 3rd place Paul Keeney, and 8th place was Winky Williams. Winky Williams won the F-Class Standard B division. Chappie Sweetman and Ben DeGiudice entered the coached pairs and won by a nice margin. Also, the Carnarvon team entered in the Ray Miles Cup event and came runner-up. And Chappie Sweetman also won the Champion of Champions shoot, competing against the best club shooters of the state. So with all that in mind, now the 3 of them, Chappie, Paul and Benny, are heading off to Canberra to compete in the ACT King's Shoot in November to represent the state of WA for a team shoot over 3 days. So I had the opportunity to go out and have a shoot a couple of months ago with the guys, and they're now attracting shooters from all over the state and in fact all over Australia to come here for a shoot. But they're so good at what they do, people are starting to ask, what is it, the water or the bananas you eat? They shoot so well. So congratulations to those guys for a fantastic effort in representing our town. Right, moving right along. Presentations, petitions and memorials, there are none. And we have the Blowholes letter. Now, I know we got a letter on the morning of the 20th, which they asked for us to table, which I sent out to all councillors, so that's been tabled. But then they've asked for that to be not tabled, so I'm not sure where we go with that one, but it's been tabled. And I think all councillors have read that. And we also received another letter on the 21st to all Shire councillors from the BPA. And I think all councillors have read that. With the letter on the 20th, I know once again they've brought up a statement regarding the hundreds of thousands of dollars, but that information is readily available from the Shire, so I'd like to ask freedom of information, they can get that one. And in regards to my conflict of interest, as I have done so today, I was declaring an interest of impartiality. It's just to answer that question. So I hope that clears that up. So now we'll jump into the departmental reports. Item 7.1.1, actions performed under delegated authority. Have a mover, please. Councillor Vanderloo. Seconder, please. Councillor Carina. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.1.2, Walder advocacy position on the local government elections. Councillor Vanderloo. Seconder, please. Councillor Skender. Once again, councillors, is there any debate on that? No debate, no comments. That's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Item 7.2.1, accounts paid under delegation September 2024. Councillor Vanderloo. Seconder, please. Councillor Skender. Councillors, is there any debate? That's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Councillors. Item 7.2.2. Budget adjustments for October 2024. The absolute. This is by absolute majority. What was that, Councillor?
Did you say absolute? It's not simple budget adjustments.
There's been a boo-boo because on the front page it's saying simple, but the officer's recommendation is by absolute majority. And it should be absolute majority. Yeah, from the budget. So councillors, have a mover, please. Councillor Vanderloo. Seconder, please. Councillor Kelly. Is there any debate, councillors? Being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Item 7.2.3, monthly financial report, September 2024. Have a mover, please. Councillor Kelly. Seconded, Councillor Brown. Thank you. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Councillors, item 7.3.1. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Kelly. Seconder, please. Councillor Vanderloo. Is there any debate, Councillor? Councillors? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.3.2. Councillors, there is a officer's recommendation that's been made available. So, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Dudley Mason. Seconder, please. Councillor Kelly. Councillor Maslin, would you like to open the debate, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't really have anything to add to the officer's recommendation. This item has been discussed in ad nauseam for 49 years by this council, to my personal knowledge, and it is time that we try to stop the division in the community and the cost to this community of this ongoing saga. And we haven't got the funds or the fortitude to keep on this nonsense. So I think it's time that the state government actually fulfil their obligations and actually took control of the state land and actually helped to facilitate an outcome. Consequently, I'm happy to support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maslin. Councillor Maslin has spoken for the motion. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Councillor Skender.
Please, thank you. I'll try not to take up too much time. I would like to move a foreshadowed motion, please. I think it has to be foreshadowed. I'm not going to submit the one I've written. I'm just going to make some changes to the officer's recommendation that was circulated to us. Do I want my foreshadow motion now, or will I talk to the existing one first?
You can read out your foreshadowed motion and then we'll continue the
Okay.
debate if
The amendments to the motion.
So my amendment,
motion fails, then your foreshadowed motion
so my foreshadowed motion would be, to simplify things, would be to retain points 1 and 2 and delete 3.
Thank you.
So,
Did you wish to speak further against the motion?
yeah, I would like to speak against the recommendation, just in particular point 3. I just believe for us to cease the provision of the services there, such as the toilets and the rubbish, I just don't think that that's the right thing to do by our community. I think that's our premier location for us to get away, whether it's a day trip or a camping trip close to our town. And I believe the expectation is that we provide those services to our community. Therefore, I can't support number 3. I believe by supporting 3, it's going to create more problems down the track that we're going to be left with anyway. We're going to have no choice but to clean up the place anyway. So I could go on days and days, but that's the crux of it.
Thank you, Councillor Skinner. Do I have any further speakers for the motion as presented?
Yeah, I'll speak for the motion, please, Mr President, and effectively, I'm supporting the initial motion raised by Councillor Maslin, and I'll speak against the foreshadow motion by Councillor Skender, as it's really the only point of differentiation we have here.
Councillor, you don't need to speak against that motion.
Well, I'll speak for it, but I'll address the option on the table, which is to vote against this motion, and then I'll explain why I'm supporting leaving option 3 in there, which is effectively the same thing. And the reason is because one of the main purposes that we're going down this path is to try and create efficiencies for the Shire again. Having recently been through the budgeting process with the Shire, the financial position of the Shire isn't a strong one, and it's fair to say we bleed cash in lots of little areas around the Shire, picking up slack that doesn't necessarily need to be picked up by the Shire. And I think this is an example of that, and I don't think it's too much of an ask. Well, I actually know it's not too much of an ask. As someone who frequently goes up the coast and brings my rubbish home with me, it's not that much of a burden on me to do that, and I don't think it is on anyone else to do the same. In addition to that, people that frequently go camping, I believe they usually have the facilities to cope with the waste that they generate when they're away as well, so that's also not too much of a burden for the people in that position. So I support items 1, 2 and 3 and effectively the package and the strategy that we're going for here. And it seems that we're kicking in the right direction on a couple of fronts, because the BPA appear to agree with the approach as well, based on the letters that we're seeing here. So it feels like we are in danger of making progress on this one for the first time in a long time. So I look forward to seeing how it develops and support the motion as it stands.
Thank you, Councillor Vanderloo. That's a speaker for the motion. Do I have any further speakers against the motion? Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr President. Similar to Councillor Skender, I'm supportive of points 1 and 2. I'm certainly against point 3. My reasons are the use of the Blowhole Reserve is an important recreation by local residents and visitors alike from across this great nation. I have a concern that the community has not been consulted on the proposed changes. Whilst the number of shack owners is a very small element of our local population, I believe the amenity provided by the blowholes is enjoyed by a much wider portion of our community. And as a councillor and a member of council, I believe on a matter of this nature that we should be discussing options with our citizens. The third point, the blowholes is a source of revenue, which I believe is particularly important for a local government that has very limited scope to raise revenues outside of rates and fees. I, as a councillor, believe I'm not sufficiently informed of the financial ramifications of doing away with the fees. I had been of the view that the blowholes was a financial impost on council, but at a recent meeting it was suggested the net annual return was positive and in the sum of many tens of thousands of dollars. I'd also have a further question: what is our implications to our annual budget and more broadly our long-term financial plan? And again, I can't answer this question, that's why I'm asking it. Is our proposed action in item 3 legal? And could it have any unintended legal and or financial ramifications? So I therefore suggest to my fellow councillors that we support options, well, the officer's recommendation 1 and 2 and forego number 3 at this stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Are there any other speakers for the motion?
We've got a question. Just in relation to Councillor Kelly's point, I think he raised a good point regarding the legality of option 3. Do we need to do more work to understand if that is legal or not? I certainly don't know if it is or not, and I understand the CEO's first day in the seat, so it's unfair to maybe expect a response.
Through the Chair, we can take that on notice. At this point in time, a cessation of services, I wouldn't think that there is, but we will need to just explore that probably a little further.
Thank you. Any further speakers against the motion?
Look,
You've
I've got,
spoken for the motion.
yeah, I've got another question. It's more a general one. I think that's a pretty big deal, the legality of the position, and I think it would only harm, and I'm risking debate. Maybe if we suspend standing orders, it's probably the best course for me to discuss this.
You want to suspend standing orders?
Yeah, I'll move a motion to suspend standing orders.
I'll second that, Mr. President.
Councillor Kelly seconded that. Councillors, is there any debate on the motion to move standing orders?
Aye.
Okay, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Councillor Vanderleer, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I think the risk that it isn't legal, when you say you'll take it on notice, I think it would be, we risk further confusion and reputational damage to the Shire if we make a decision like this, excuse me, and have it wrong.
So, through the Chair, I don't believe that there is any serious legal implication if you don't take the fees. If you were charging the fees and then you continue to, and then you didn't take and provide a service, then that could be, it's not necessarily legal, but it's not ethical perhaps either. On a general reserve, there is no requirement, and I don't believe there's any statutory intent out there that you have to provide toilets or those sorts of different things. So I don't believe the risk is high. Reputationally is another matter, but legally I don't believe there's a high risk at this point.
Okay. And in relation to the financial stuff, we did discuss figures. I don't recall if it was in a council meeting or a CIS.
Might have been a CIS.
But they didn't have, that was purely a income from charges and then like a ranges and rubbish fee. That had nothing to do with all the legal fees incurred or anything, did it? It was just okay. Yeah.
Direct costs.
Yeah.
Councillor?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so there was the direct cost, but I don't think, councillors, that there's been any account made for the countless hours put in by Shire staff, which costs money. That's a fact. There's been countless hours of work over the years in this issue.
Sorry, Mr. President, that's in respect to the management of the blowholes or managing the legal action of the blowholes?
No, man, it's just trying to implement what's required in the management plans and comply with the management order. There's been hours put into that, hours of work on trying to get the state government to agree to a review of the management order. I can assure you there's a massive amount of hours went into that, and I was part of that work. A lot of time. So 1 week just recently I put 20 hours of work into that and wrote 3 letters to the Minister. So a lot of work in that area. And this has gone on for a number of years. So that's just one of the issues that we've had. And something that does annoy me is we have also seen the services we've put up there abused by the community, the visiting community and locals alike. When the skip bin got dropped off up there one day, within 2 hours it was full while the construction work went on those shacks. The shack owners pay nothing, but they certainly utilise those services, and there's a cost to that. So there's a lot of other costs that we don't see. So I think we've got to be aware that there is those costs as well, outside of the legal cost and the time spent by Shire staff during those legal costs, during those processes. So I can remember CEOs saying there's nothing in this for us financially, but I haven't got any evidence, so that's a con.
I guess that's the vacuum that we live in at the moment.
Yeah.
But casting our eyes forward, if we're able to resolve these issues amicably, there is significant upside.
Yeah, I think what we've got to really look at is the state government has given us a management order and we've developed a management plan. We've recognised, there's no doubt about it, that the management plan has some faults, issues. We've been trying, in my time, for the last 5 years, to get the government to review the management plan so that we can implement the management that's required and fit into the management orders. So we're in breach of the management orders and we're in breach of the management plans. We've been trying for the last, this council has been trying for the last 5 years to do that, but it keeps hitting roadblocks. Every time the BPA put up a roadblock, we go backwards with what the state will do, and the state's doing nothing. So we've got to somehow overcome that. And to be quite honest with you, I think, as I said this morning to the whole council, you've got the state government sitting here demanding this action occur. We've got the BPA sitting here saying no, and we're in the middle. We step back, get right out of it, and leverage the government. We may be able to kickstart the process, review the state review the management plan to give us something that will work. Because I can assure you the state won't budge on a couple of items in that management plan. They really won't. So it really comes down to trying to leverage the state government to review the management plan. And by doing this, I believe that will happen. Anything else?
While we have standing orders, in regards to not having item 3, if we did relinquish the management order for that land, wouldn't that automatically assume that we no longer collect fees for camping of that ground?
Yes.
So that's the, financially wise, that's that taken out of the equation. Because
Yes.
if you agree with items 1 and 2, we can no longer collect fees. But,
Yes.
but then you say we still want to spend money on it without collecting fees.
I think we've got to look a little bit further afield, people, because we do have sections of the coastline where there's people. You can't go there unless you've got a portable toilet and you cart your own waste away and rubbish. And there's significant sections of the coastline like that.
But they're not so much day use areas, they're more longer term, 2, 3, 4 day camping, whereas
Yeah,
the blowholes
absolutely.
is somewhat more of a day use type of facility. within, an hour's drive. A lot of people just go there for the day. And they need those facilities. To me, the only people that are losing out of part 3 is our community, who go up there and use it for the day and for an idle to week. They're the only people that are, and I think that's a lot to lose for. I'm just unsure about the what you believe the gain is by conveying a message to the state.
It's a leverage
Yeah.
I'm trying to...
Yeah, I understand, but I'm not sure if it's...
Yeah. Any other comments, councillors? Discussion? Well, can I get someone to move the without standing orders? Councillors Vanderloo, Councillor Kelly, is there any debate on going back into standing orders? No debate? Thank you, that's adopted unanimously. Mrs Hill, now our last speaker was Councillor Kelly against the motion.
Are we speaking to the amendment motion or the motion?
No, the current motion, not the amended motion.
1, 2 and 3.
So, any further speakers? You've already spoken, Councillor Naismith. Any other further speakers for the motion?
I'll speak for the motion. I can understand the honourable councillor Skinner, but also understand from councillor Vanderloo's point of view. This is a much bigger picture. With this been going on for 40 years or more, we made this resolution back in July. It's quite simple. We do not have the financial capacity to continue to do the same thing and get the same result. That is the definition of insanity. So, in a nutshell, the Shire has to consider all the ratepayers in this, and we're handing reserve back to the state government. It's the only way we're going to get anywhere close to implementing the Whitehall Management Plan, and it looks after everybody. In relation to option 3, it's also that we cease provision of all camping area management. So we can't take the fees and then not pick up the rubbish. So we're not charging any fees. There's an education program in place, and there's signage, and there's a lead up to this. Take your own rubbish with you, take your own portable loo with you, go and enjoy the camping spot. It's all there, but you can't have one without the other. So 1 to 3, in my view, need to stay. It will bring the state to the table, and I guarantee you will be having conversations with the bureaucrats prior to the election, once this motion gets up today. Because we're at the point now where we need them to come back to us, for them to understand we are Dinkum, we've got to the end of our tether. If we leave out option 3, why do they actually have to come back to us at all? They can just bumble around saying, well, we might take it back, we might not, but in the meantime, sure, I just keep going and cleaning up after us. Thanks for coming. So 1 to 3, the initial officer's recommendation. I urge all councillors to support it as put. And yeah, I do share Councillor Skinner and Councillor Kelly's concern, but you just can't have one without the other. So urge all council to follow it as put 1 to 3.
Councillors, is there any further speakers against the motion? Councillors, I will speak to the motion. I think, I'll go back to a few of the things I've said earlier today, is I'm thinking of the majority of our community that wants to enjoy the amenities of Blowholts. And at the moment we can't do that. We can't. It's because we're trying to achieve the requirements of the management orders over that reserve and the management plan, which I admit is flawed. It has problems. I've tried for 5 years to get the state government to review the management plan and have failed. I see this as a tool to wake up the government and do something, and then we are able then to hopefully, because the state have clearly stated that they want to see an equitable use of that land for the enjoyment of the community, the visiting community and our community. And that's what it comes down to, an equitable enjoyment of that land. We need state government assistance, and I'm pleading with the state government for that assistance to change the management plan, therefore allow the enjoyment of the whole community of the blowholes. It's not about a small group of people, it's about the whole of the community enjoying the blowholes. And I think this is a way forward of, I'll say, poking the government in the ribs for their support. And I'm going to be quite honest now. If we were to vote this in, and the people of our town and the visiting community make a mess up with it, then how genuine are those people? The day visitors, if they can't go to the blowhole and take their waste away and go prepared, then how genuine are they? How genuine are they at looking after it, what they perceive as being a gem in our shire as a tourism attraction? It's disingenuine, people. If you're going to go up there and make a mess, it wouldn't matter whether we were providing the services or not, they're going to make a mess. So I think we've got to be sensible. We've had this fight, as Councillor Maslin said, it's over 40 years this fight's been going on, it's time to stop. It's time for the state government to put change their management plans in place that will enable everybody to move forward. With that, Councillor Dudley Maslin, would you like to close the debate? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr President. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate councillors on the standard of debate. There have been very good points for and against. But it's been mentioned, and I won't go over it in depth, but we need a resolution. It's about cost and finance and division in our community. It's been going on for a long time, it's been stated, and it's really an issue if you take out the middle. The council's in the middle, and it's between the state and the Blowholes Progress Association. Is really the debate when you take the whole lot out of it. That's the argument. I have here, which all councils have a copy of, a letter from the Blowholes Progress Association, and I'm quoting, there's 4 paragraphs, and I'll quote out of the 4 paragraphs separately so that it can't be accused of taking out of context. Okay. Firstly, the BPA expresses its open, I'm quoting from this letter, expresses its open and public support for the Shire of Carnarvon in relation to Resolution 7.3.2, which is the one that we're discussing and debating here at the moment. Secondly, the BPA would seek the support in the light of this by adding the BPA's future management proposal of this agenda item. And what they're proposing is that using the 2008 management plan as a guideline, the BPA's Blowholes business plan approved by Minister McTiernan to address all of perceived and real management issues for the Blowholes Reserve. So the BPA is effectively offering to manage. They're giving the state, they're talking to the state now as far as I'm concerned. And the last paragraphs that I'll quote out of is the BPA believes that this resolution will simplify compliance and administration of the reserve by removing a tier of government and reducing ongoing costs to the ratepayers of Carnarvon and the taxpayers generally. I think it sums it up pretty well. I think we find we now have common ground between ourselves and the BPA, and it's been recognised that the state is the problem the BPA is about. The Shire's been trying to do its best to arbitrate over many, many, many years at lots of expense, and the BPA has now stood up and said, we'll take control of it. A few blokes don't want to do it, and I think in the interest, as has been quoted by the President and others, that it has cost us enough time and enough division in this community, and it'd be really good for those people interested to deal with the state directly. Thank you.
With that, Councillor Dudley Maslin has closed the debate. I'll put it to debate. All those in favour, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those against? 2, 6. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Thank you, councillors. That was very good. Moving right along, item 7.4.1. The Coral Bay Public Amenity Cleaning Services Award for Denver. Could I move it, please, councillor?
Just a reminder of my impartiality interest.
Thank you, councillor.
Thank you.
Second, please, Councillor Kelly. Councillor Scandal. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry. So Councillor Kelly, you were moving the motion?
Yes,
Could I see
please.
the please stand below? Sorry about that. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.4.2, application for a memorial plaque for Mr Alan John Carroll. Councillors, I'm suggesting that whoever moves this motion, in the officer's recommendation, that the word installed towards the end of the second line is replaced with reinstate. Councillor Kelly. Seconded, Councillor Farina. Is there any debate, councillors?
Could I talk to that?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr President. The inclusion or the exclusion of approved with the word inclusion, I think, is the most appropriate way to go. Apparently the plaque was approved by the Shire some years ago. What this agenda item has shown that perhaps we review our memorials and plaques and whatever other policy that pertains to it to ensure that we've got a robust and fair system to roll out in the future.
Councillor Kelly, with that in mind, so you'd be happy if you made that as a dot point to the item, that the policy is reviewed?
Yes, if it may, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll include that in the policy, that the CEO will review that policy in the agenda item. It'll be a dot point after the actual item. Councillors happy with that? Thank you. So Councillor Kelly, you've spoken for the motion. Is there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion?
Just by way of background, Mr President, was evident earlier. I knew Alan Carroll when he was the Clerk of Courts here many years ago, and whilst I understand the possible ramifications of relocating the memorial, bear in mind it is the relocation of the memorial that was put there, approved at the old courthouse site. In fact, I understand his ashes were actually buried under the memorial at the old courthouse site with the approval of the local authority and in those days, of course, of the community. I would just like to give Council a bit of a background on Alan Carroll. He was in a very important position in the community in those days. If anyone's had any dealings with the courts, and I'm not talking about not being signed off and spending a night in the local caboose, Mr President, I'm talking about the job that they need to do, which is not always pleasant. They're like the police, they're expected to fix everything and make everything right, and when they can't, because they can't, people get a bit grumpy with them. But in actual fact, you get someone with the social conscience of, like our last, or one of our very recent Clerk of Courts, Mr Hardy, people with the highest social conscience and are very much involved in the community, who go out and do these jobs of informing people of tragedies and so on in their families that have happened, and also offer their personal support, which is way and above the call. Alan Carroll was a bloke who did that. He was highly respected by the members of the community at that time. So I just thought it'd be interesting for council who didn't have the privilege to know him to actually know that that's what it's about. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maslin, for that. He certainly was a popular person. I've spoken to the Shire President of the day, who confirmed your statements there, didn't he? In fact, he was extremely well regarded. So, with that, is there any, Councillor Kelly, I'll take it as opening, is there any speakers against it? No speakers against it. Councillor Kelly, will you like to close the debate, please?
Debate will be closed.
Thank you, Councillor. With that, councillors, all those in favour? Unanimous. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Item 7.4.3 has been withdrawn. So we'll move straight on to item 7.4.4, additional regional road group funding. Are they leader, please? Councillor Maslen. Seconder, please. Councillor Farina. Councillor Maslen.
Yes, I'd just like to thank the acting CEO, John Upwood, and Mr Nielsen for getting onto this, as Councillor Vandeleur alluded to earlier on, as we're all aware, our budget's definitely not in the best shape. But anyway, they've managed to move some funds around and find some more. This is a bit of a background to this. The 4 shires, Shark Bay, Gascoyne Junction, Exmouth and ourselves, as part of the regional road group, we've been working very hard the last 5 years. So by basically making sure that we expend, and it's a team effort between all the shires and the officers and the contractors, and getting the job done and spending all of our grant funding money. So we basically put our hands up and said, well, please sir, can we have some more? Now, if there's ever been an underspend or you haven't got the job done on time and all the rest of it, there's a good reason for the state to turn around and say no. Well, in this case, they've been watching us go, and we've asked every year that we've expanded our budgets to please sir, can we have some more? Well, this time they've turned around, and with the support of Main Roads, WA, etc., we've managed to get a hold of a very small portion of the some $30 million or more underspend that happens annually in the Great Southern. So with that, we managed to gather up a few more shekels from the till. The dollar spent and the dollar matched in this case is almost another 2/3 on top of our 1/3 contribution. So thanks again to the previous acting CEO and Mr Nielsen for moving the deck chairs around on the ship and making it happen. But this is just a bit of a background to how that's come about. So I urge all councillors to support the motion as put.
Thank you, Councillor Maslen. Is there any brave souls out there that want to speak against that motion? There being those that wishes to speak against the motion. Councillor Maslen, would you like to place that?
Debate's closed.
Thank you. Councillors, all those in favour? Unanimous, thank you, Mrs Hill. Councillors, applications for leave of absence. Councillor, getting there. So, councillors, Councillor Vandeleur, would you like to move on a leave of absence for the November council meeting? Can I see that, please? Second is Councillor Maslen. Is there any debate, councillors? That's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Motions of which previous notice has been given. There are nil. Questions from members without notice. Is there any questions from members without notice? I'm sorry, Councillor. I was just waiting for you to finish. Sorry. Urgent business approved by the presiding member or by decision of council. Councillors, this is a very late item. I'm happy to approve it, but if council want to vote on whether or not we deal with it, please advise me. Otherwise, we can move forward with my approval. What's it to be, councillors? Let's do it. Everybody's happy?
Yep.
Okay, so that's been approved for myself. Councillors, late item is item 7.12. We've already had 7.4.1. 5, so, okay. Yep. Councillor, will you please note that as item 7.4.5. Could I have someone move the motion, please? Councillor Kelly. Seconder, please. Councillor Skender. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that is adopted unanimously. Thank you, councillors. So, Matters for which the meeting is going to be closed to the public, there is nil. Date of the next meeting in Coral Bay is 26th of November. With that, councillors, thank you very, very much. Meeting is closed.
Thank you, Mr Chairman.
Thank you all for your efforts.